Hello friends, welcome back to Automation Testing Insider. And today I come up with this topic, that is Selenium data driven framework with page object model. So apart from this framework, we have many other frameworks, like we have keyword driven framework, which is deprecated nowadays. We have modular framework, we have hybrid framework, we have BDD, that is behavioral driven framework with page object model. So since we are using data driven framework with page object model, so I would say this is hybrid framework, and this framework is very popular nowadays, and many companies have been already using this. So guys, today I'll walk through an overview of this framework with the help of a dummy framework which I have created. I'll show you a demo as well of that framework, how it works, and going forward I'll create separate videos like how to create the framework from scratch. And this video would be very useful for everyone, because we should know like what are the different components in a framework and how they are associates with each other and how it works basically. So this is very important topic today. And if you are new to Selenium and new to my channel, so I would suggest first you go through my channel, and you can refer Java for Selenium videos which I have already created, and afterwards you can look for Selenium WebDriver step by step, and different blog and articles already I have published in my blog, that is automationtestinginsider.com. So let's discuss about today's agenda. So we'll talk about brief introduction about Selenium, like many of you might be new uh, in Selenium. So we'll discuss brief introduction about Selenium. What is test automation framework? We'll talk about it. And what is data driven testing and why we are using data driven testing. We'll also discuss like what is page object model and what are its advantages and disadvantages. What are the different framework components we have, and what are the different enhancements I made in my framework. I'll show you that, and we'll discuss. I'll show you demo of my framework, and we'll conclude our points like how to create framework from scratch. So I come up with different points, different steps I would say. So I'll show you how to create framework from scratch, and this is very important, like how to explain framework for an interview. Okay, and at last we'll discuss about implementation of OOP concept in Selenium framework. So let's get started with the first point, that is Selenium and its history. So as we all know that Selenium is a free or open source automated testing suite for web applications across different browsers and platforms. So this is platform independent, and Selenium is not just a single tool, it's a set of softwares, each catering to a different testing needs of an organization. So it has four components. So we have Selenium integrated development environment, we have Selenium remote control, we have WebDriver, and Selenium grid. So these are the four components. So still, if you want to know more about Selenium and its history, so you can visit my channel and look for the video which I have created on Selenium and its history, and you can refer my blog as well. What are the different Selenium supporting environments? So we have we can run our scripts on Windows, Linux, and iOS operating systems. And what are the different programming languages supported by Selenium? So we can write our scripts in C Sharp, Java, Perl, PHP, Python, Ruby, and we can automate web-based applications and mobile-based web applications which has waveforms. Okay, and regarding native applications, we have APM tool, that is third-party tool which we can integrate with Selenium. So probably I'll create separate videos on APM as well going forward. What is test automation framework? Okay, so let's discuss what is test automation framework. So this is the definition of framework. So framework is a set of guidelines like coding standard, test data handling, object repository treatment. So what do you mean by object repository treatment? So we in framework we used to have all the objects at one place, okay, and which when followed these things, okay, which when followed during automation scripting produce beneficial outcomes like increased code reusage, higher portability, reduced script maintenance cost, etc. So these are just guidelines guys and not rules. So this is, there is no hard and fast that you have to use framework, okay, but yeah, these are not mandatory, and you can still script, you can write scripts without following the guidelines, but you will miss out on the advantages of having a framework. So these are the different advantages of having a framework, and if you don't use framework then you will miss out all these advantages. What is data driven testing? So data driven testing is a test automation framework which stores test data in a table or spreadsheet format, okay. So you can see in this diagram we stored data in this data file, okay, and we'll pass those data in the driver scripts. We'll uh, we'll take the data from our scripts, okay, into our scripts, and we'll supply it to the, we'll perform different actions on application under test. This is our application that will give some results, okay, and we'll compare with the expected results. So this is how data driven framework works, okay. In the next slide I'll explain in detail. So this allows automation engineer to have a single test script which can execute test for all the test data in the table. So this is the problem statement. So we want to test the login system with multiple input fields, let's say 1000 different, using 1000 different data sets. So to test this you can take the following different approaches. So what it says: approach 1, create 1000 scripts, one for each data set, and runs each test separately one by one. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll create 1000 scripts for each data set and we'll run one by one. What about approach 2? We'll create manually, we'll change manually the value in the test script and run it several times. So we'll create only one script and we'll change the data every time. So that is also time consuming. So you can see these two are very time consuming and that needs a lot of efforts. How about approach 3? So import the data from Excel sheet, fetch test data from Excel rows one by one and execute the script. Okay, so in the given three scenarios, first two are laborious and time consuming. So first two will take a lot of time, therefore it is ideal to follow the third approach. So this is recommended guys, so this looks a good approach. Thus the third approach is nothing but a data driven framework. So this is an example of data driven framework. Now let's talk about page object model. So what is page object model? So page and many people thinking that page object model is a framework. So it's not a framework. Page object model is a design pattern to create object repository for web UI elements. So don't worry, I'll show you in my framework how I stored the UI elements. Under this model, for each web page in the application there should be a corresponding page class. Okay, so take an example like we have a login page, home page. So we'll create a separate class for login page, we'll create a separate class for home page, like that. And this page class will find the web elements of that page and also contains page methods. So that page class will contains UI elements as well as the methods which perform operations on these web elements. Okay, so in this diagram you can see this is non-POM structure. So here we have only one class, class A, which contains web elements and methods as well as it contains test methods as well. Whereas this is POM structure guys. We have two different classes, class A and class B. Class A contains web elements and methods, whereas class B contains only test methods. So these two are separate classes. So this is POM structure. So what are the different advantages of POM and what are the different disadvantages? So first advantage is object repository. So it works as a object repository. Okay, so you can create an object repository of the fields segmented page wise. So we can create object repository page wise. So as we have discussed, so let's say this is class A or login page class. So it contains all the web elements of that login page and corresponding methods as well. Okay, sorry, this one. And what is the second one? Second advantage is functional encapsulation. So all possible functionality or operations that can be performed on a web page can be defined and contained within the same class created for each page. So take an example like login page. So login functionality will be there. So there is kind of encapsulation will be there. Okay, so we'll create the method of that login functionality in that class itself. This allows for clear definition of and scope of each page functionality. Okay, so this is the advantage of this point. Okay, low maintenance. So we have any user interface changes can swiftly be implemented into the interface as well as class. And programmer friendly. So when you use page object model, so our scripts will be very robust and more readable format, and the object oriented approach makes the framework programmer friendly. Low redundancy, so there won't be much duplication in the code. If the architecture is correctly and sufficiently defined, the POM gets more done in less code. Okay, efficient and scalable. So faster than the other keyword driven or data driven approaches where Excel sheets are to be read and written. And there are some disadvantages of having page object model. So what are those? We have high setup time and effort. So definitely it requires a lot of effort. So initial effort investment in the development automation framework is high. This is the biggest weight of page object model in case of web applications with hundreds and thousands of pages. It is highly suggested that if this model is decided to be implemented, then it should be done parallel to the development of the application. We need skilled labor. Okay, so testers are not technically sound or aware of programming best practices are a nightmare in this case. If you don't have good knowledge of object oriented programming, then it would be very difficult. Specific, so this is not a generic model. It's a automation framework developed using POM approach is specific to the application. Okay, unlike keyword driven or data driven frameworks where we can go for any application. But there are a lot of advantages of having POM uh, model, right, as we have discussed. So this is a brief of about my demo, guys. So I have created a project for WordPress. Okay, so let me just read out all these points. So Selenium WebDriver is being used as the core automation engine. Okay, so this WordPress is the website where we can post or we can publish our blogs. Okay, yeah, so these are the different points. Selenium WebDriver is being used as the core automation engine. We have Eclipse IDEs used to develop the automation scripts. We have build tool Maven is used for build execution and dependency purpose. TestNG is being used for organizing the scripts. Page factory are created to store the element definition. Okay, so in POM we have page factory method. So I'll show you how it looks. Okay, test data is read from Excel sheet at runtime. We have Git and GitHub is used for version control management, or you can say for configuration management. We have Jenkins as CI tool, and at last we have extend reports for reporting purpose. Okay, to generate the reports, HTML reports. So I have automated these different cases: smoke test, functional, and regression. And we have yeah, this is the application. I have authored around 10 test cases, scripted around 10 test cases. Yeah, so these are the different components in a framework. So we have base class, so we'll discuss in detail what is base class. Okay, and this is a page layer, guys, and this is test layer, as we have discussed in POM, about POM, right, in page object model design. So here we have listed on all the we have created all the page classes: login page, home page, product page, payment page. Yeah, I mean these two are not belongs to this particular demo, so that's why this product page and payment page are there. So corresponding we have take an example like login page, we have corresponding login page test. For home page we have home page test, like that. We have some test data configuration, config.properties file, so we'll discuss like what is this config.properties. We have test data folder to store the test data in Excel format. Okay, we have drivers folder, we have screenshots folder as well, and we have one common utilities package where we have test util class, extend class, listeners class, okay, and data provider class. We have other folders as well for logs and reporting purpose. So log4j is being used for logging, HTML reports, extend reports, and WebDriver logs. So these are the different folders. So we'll execute our scripts using testng.xml. Okay, and that will be configured in the POM file itself, POM as well. And we have a Git repository to store our scripts in GitHub. And we have continuous integration, we have Jenkins server. Okay, this is another representation of framework, Selenium automation framework. So you can see we have this config file, we have page objects, utility libraries, we have application specific libraries, and this side we have continuous integration. This side we have test management tools. Okay, these are the browsers. And what are the key components in this framework which we have created in, or you can say in a hybrid framework or data driven framework with using page object model. So we have config.properties for file for constants. So I'll show you this file. We have extend report, we have testng for groups and prioritize our test cases. We have simplified script writing using page object model. We can run our scripts in different browsers. You can see here we have Chrome, Firefox, and IE browser. New Selenium customized functions. Okay, and we used Maven for jar files version control. Okay, so using POM XML we can download different jar files dependencies. Okay, created dependencies for jar files using Maven. So this is the same point. We have Git configuration, okay, and Jenkins integration, and ready to use the framework. Yeah, so why we use Maven? So Maven is for build, execution, and dependency purpose. So integrating the test ng dependency in POM XML and running this POM XML file using Jenkins. Okay, so I'll show you in my framework. We'll go through that framework in coming slides. Okay, version control tool. So we have as we have already discussed earlier, so we use Git as repository to store our test scripts, and whenever we have any change in our code, then we'll store in the Git repository. later on after modifying the test cases, test scripts. We have Jenkins. By using Jenkins CI continuous integration tool, we execute test cases on daily basis and also for nightly execution based on schedule. Okay. So Selenium framework integration with CI tool. Okay, this Maven configuration. So this is POM, guys. So let me just show you this project structure. So this is my project framework demo WordPress automation. So let me just open that application as well. One second. Demo websites. We have different. One second. Yeah, WordPress demo. So this is the application which I have automated. So yeah, this is my main configuration, guys. So this is pom.xml. So let me just open. So POM looks like this. So this is very useful. So no need to manually upload your jar file. So automatically what it does, will just use this dependency, using this dependency. Okay, so you can it has separate repository in Google. You can get that, I mean separate site from where you can get the dependencies, and simply you have to keep the dependencies over here, and when you save it, automatically it will download whatever jar files you will be needed in your project. Take an example, this Selenium Java. So here this is the version, this is the TestNG version we are using, this is the Apache POI Excel file. Oh sorry, for reading the Excel file. Okay, we have apache.py. Okay, so this is the version. So what you need to do is you have to get the dependencies and you have to put it over here, and simply it will download for you. Okay, so this is uh, one of the important features. So for dependencies purpose we use Maven. So this is the project structure. So as let me just show you. So we have two folders here, src main java and src test java. So inside main folders we have wordpress.qa.action driver. So this is for action driver. I'll explain later on what is this package. Okay, so these are the different packages, guys. com.wordpress.qa.base, this is the base class. Here we have config package. So this is config.properties file. This is for test data. This is com.wordpress.qa.util, and this is the actual naming convention you should follow, com.wordpress.qa, like in this way. This is a utility package, and this is we have pages package. Okay, so you can see here we have different pages, like let's say login page. So here we have web elements stored in form of page factory. We'll discuss about this. So this is the complete project structure. Properties file. So this file config.properties stores the information that remains static throughout the framework, such as browser specific information such as application URL, test data, path, etc. So you can see here URL, username is there, password, browser. Okay, so this is the file path to read the test data. Okay, so here we have file name and sheet name, which file we are going to use. Okay, so all the details we change as per the environment and authorization such as URL, login. Okay, login credential are kept in the config.properties file. Keeping this file, keeping these details in a separate file makes easy to maintain. So let me just show you. So this is config.properties. So just make sure that the extension should be .properties. So this is the URL of the application. We have username, password, browser, which browser we are going to run. So here we'll change. okay, and automatically the script will run in that particular browser. What is next? Test based class. So test based class deals with all the common functions used by all the pages. Okay, so what are those common functions? So this class is responsible for loading the configurations from properties file. Okay, initializing the web driver. So these are the two common things, or you can say the main configurations in test based class: initializing the web driver, and also to create the object of file input stream, which is responsible for pointing towards the file from which the data should be read. Okay, so let me just show you test based class. So this is our test based class. So using file input stream will read the file config, this config.properties file, and later on this is the initialization function, or you can say method, by which we are reading the uh, see, this is the configuration. We load the configuration, and this is to initializing the web driver. Okay, so you can see here we have if else condition. So whatever uh, browser will pass from here, it will read based on the browser. So it will take one second. Where is that base? Yeah, so this is the initialization method. Here we have some other methods as well. So what are common methods are there, we'll store in test based class, and this will be extended by all other classes. Okay, so this is the base class, or you can say parent class. We have page class package. So here we have page class package, as already I have showed earlier. Yeah, these are the different pages. We have, let's say, login page. This is the login page. So here I have stored all the UI elements. So let's say this user login. So this is the page factory method. So in coming days we'll discuss about page object model. So I'll show you there. Okay. So here I have stored all the web elements. So this is nothing but the object repository, as well as we have written the uh, page methods as well, like this is to initialize the web elements. This is validate login page title. This to validate the login page title. This is to test the logo, and this is for login purpose. Okay, here we'll enter username, password. Okay, and click on login button. So this is page class package. Okay, so here we have uh, Java class for each and every pages, like login page, home page. This is for home page. Okay, what is the next? Yeah, test class package. So we have separate packages for pages and test. All the web page related to classes come under pages package, and all the test related classes come under test package. Okay, so let me just show you this for all the pages, guys. And we have separate folder called src test java. Inside this folder we have com.wordpress.qa.test cases. So these are the corresponding test cases of all these pages. However, I have written only for few pages, test cases for few pages. Okay, so let's say we have 10 pages over here. So 10 corresponding test classes will be there. So let me just show you one login page test. So in this login page we have this login method, right, corresponding to that particular page, login page, and these are using this UI elements, web objects. Okay, so what uh, what we have done in login page test. Here we have login class, login test, you can see. So we are validating whether user is able to successfully log in or not using this login test. Okay, so this is test package. Yeah, here we have test data package. So I have created a separate package for test data as well. So this is the separate package test data. So here I have stored this is the test data package Excel sheet, in Excel sheet, and here we have one this logo I have stored here as well in the test data package. I'll show you where I have used this logo. What is the next? Utility package. So utility class util.testutil.java stores and handles the functions, the code which is repetitive in nature, such as waits, actions, capturing screenshots, accessing Excel sheet. Okay, so to read Excel sheet or write Excel sheet, we have this utility package which can be commonly used across the entire framework. So let me just show you utility package. So this com.wordpress.qa.util, this is utility package, guys. So here we have test util to read the Excel file. We have extend class for to generate the extend report. Here I have a separate class, extend class. So I have stored this inside qa.util package. And listeners for, okay, for listeners. Okay, what is listeners basically? So whenever we perform some actions, okay, based on that it will behave. Okay, it will behave accordingly. Like you can see before navigating, navigate to method is there, after navigate to method. So here we have certain logs, I would say, before navigating to this URL it will pick, okay, the current URL. So these are the different methods. Before click on, after change value of, after click on. So these are the different methods in web listener class. Action driver package. So action driver class contains all generic functions, customized function like clicking on an element, verifying element or text, wait for element present, mouse over, and right click. So I'll show you this action driver package as well. So this is action driver package, guys. So action.java. So you can see this is scroll by visibility of elements. So these are the common functions, common methods which I have stored in action.java. So this is for click method. We have implicitly wait. Okay. So this is using actions class. So that's why I have created a separate click method, because sometimes we are unable to click on any particular element. So here I have created a separate click method, because already we have a click method in Selenium, right? But sometimes normal click method doesn't work. So in that case I have used uh, this method. Find element also we have separately I have created. Sometimes we won't get unable to locate the element, so we'll get the log in this form. Okay, so this is really very useful. So in the similar way we have I have created different methods is enabled. Okay, so type, this is send keys basically. Here you can see sometimes location not found, sometimes successfully entered the value 8. Okay, so these are the different methods inside action driver class. Browser driver folder. So here I have driver folder separately. Let me just oh yeah, action driver. Yeah, this is driver folders. uh, driver folder, and here we have different drivers: Chrome driver, okay, Gecko driver for Firefox, and iDriver server. Screenshots folder. So we'll store all our uh, one second. We'll store all our screenshots in a separate folder. So where is this? Is screenshots folder, guys. So let me just open this. So here we have one screenshot. TestNG XML. So here TestNG XML suite for suite file contains groups and classes of the modules. Okay, so it contains all the groups and classes of the module. So let me just show you. So let's say this system test. So here we have all the test classes inside this classes tag. Okay, login page test, home page, new post page, add new, and this is our group name. Okay, and this is suite name. Reports. So I'm going to use extend report. Okay, I have used extend report is being used for reporting purpose. So extend report looks like this. So this is the another view of extend report. I'll show you after running the test. I'll show you how it looks. Here we have logo as well. Log4j logs for to generate the logs grants a complete understanding of test suite's execution. Logs are an exceptional assistant in debugging of the program execution issues and failures. So in case of any failures or whenever any issues occurs, then this would be very useful, log4j. So we have generated the logs using log4j. Configuration management. So we have version control tool. So I have stored my project in GitHub, and this is Selenium Framework integration with CI tool. So this is my Jenkins, where I have created job WordPress. You can see WordPress framework. So we'll run our scripts from Jenkins, not from Eclipse. Okay. Steps to create framework from scratch. So these are the different steps, guys, we should follow to create the framework from scratch. So first of all, create the Maven project and update your POM XML uh, for different jar files, whatever, for dependency purpose. Okay, create page objects using page classes, and later on create the page objects using page classes, and create the corresponding test cases in the test classes. Okay, add logs to the test case using log4j. Regarding these points, uh, like all the points, I'll create separate videos. Okay, I'll create the framework from scratch going forward. And we have read common values from properties file, like constant values I have showed earlier. How we can read values, what are the different values we can read from properties file. Run test cases on desired browser. Okay, add extend report, and this is create this data driven test case. Okay, and adding new test cases. First write uh, the script, first create the framework for one case test case, and later on, first to create the skeleton, or you can say the structure of the framework, and later on you can keep adding other test cases. So before we move to this topic, how to explain framework, so let me just run the script. Let me just run my demo framework. So here I'll run Jenkins server. You can run it directly from command prompt, but here I have created separate batch file. And later on we'll discuss how to explain framework in an interview. Yeah, Jenkins, no, it's still running. Let me just wait. Yeah, Jenkins, it's fully up and running, so we can now log in. So localhost, so this is the default port on which Jenkins is running, 8080. So simply type localhost colon 8080. So here I log in with admin. Yeah, so this is Jenkins, guys. So here I have already created a job. So let me just run this. We have build now. So this would take some time to run, like 4 or 5 minutes. Once it is done, then I'll come back. So let me just show you. Let it runs for at least couple of cases, and then I'll come back. I'll pause the video and then I'll come back later on. So building in workspace, later on it reads POM, and then now it starts running test. You can see here. So I deliberately failed few cases, so let's see the reports later on. Okay, so I'll pause this video, guys. I'll come back after 4 or 5 minutes. Hello guys, so now it runs successfully. Build is success, but there are some failures as well. There are test failures, so we can go to the results. So extend HTML report, so I'll click on that. So here you can see there are two test failures. So these are the different test cases which are passed, and there are two test failures. So here you can see the exceptions. Okay, unable to convert, some exceptions are there. We have to debug this, and here screenshot got attached. The second one is this, no such element, so unable to locate this using this locator. Another view is yeah, this is the defects tab. So these two are the defects, some issues are there. Okay, and this is another view. So yeah, you can see 10 test cases, 16 steps, 80% of the test cases are passed. Okay, and you can configure some parameters here like username, operating system, Java version, hostname, which browser you are running, environment, QA environment, and this is the logo. So this is how you can run your scripts using Jenkins. And now let's come back to the slide. So how to explain the framework in an interview. So this is very important point. So first of all, you should give the framework overview, like what kind of framework you are using. We are using page object with page factory. You can give answer like this with functional structural implementation. So make sure that you should know the what is functional and structure implementation in this framework, in your framework, which you are going to describe. Okay, so you should know the architecture of your framework, and you know the uh, functionality of your project as well. High level overview of framework, so you can relate this point, the first 2 points. So different components with architecture you should explain. So like what is which language you are using in your framework, build tool. We are using a standardized Maven project for build execution and dependency management. Data driven, for handling data driven cases we are passing data using properties. Okay, make sure you know all about libraries. Okay, Apache POE and all, Java properties file, properties class, properties file. Testing framework, for ordering test we are using TestNG framework. Configuration management like Git and GitHub, we check in our code into client repository using a version controlling tool Git bash on Windows system. And make sure you know what is functional structure. So this is repeated point, I guess. And you can say that we have maintained a page class for every page in our application, like POM basically. Let's say product listing page. Okay, add to cart page, payment page. This is for typical e-commerce application example I have given here. And you can say we have maintained separate package for page and page test, like this. Maintain different package is always good practice to follow. Maintaining different packages is always good practice to follow. Okay, we always have a base class for common functions used by all the pages. Make sure you know why we have base page class and page object. Logging mechanism, so we are using log4j library to maintain logging. In our project we are using all kinds of logging statements like info, debug, error. So these are the different logging in statements, guys. So we have maintained a separate class for it, like com.company name dot main package. Okay, reporting, so we are using extend report for reporting purpose. So it is third party report and it is easily available at Maven Center repository. And we are using Maven Postman plugin Java API to send generated extend report as an attachment to the client distribution list through email. Okay, now this is the last topic. So implementation of OOP concept in Selenium framework. Okay, so the first point is interface. So an interface in Java programming language is an abstract type that is used by specify a behavior that classes must implement. So we'll discuss about this topic, like implementation of OOP concept in Selenium framework, going forward in detail. I'll create a separate video on this. So an interface also contain methods and variables just like the class, but that methods declared in interface are by default abstract. Okay, so to understand this, the very basic statement we write in Selenium is driver is equal to new Chrome driver. Okay, so here what we have done, we have created the object of this Chrome driver class with the reference variable of WebDriver. Okay, so WebDriver is an interface. So we are implementing all the properties of this, all the methods of this WebDriver interface. Okay, so in this case WebDriver itself is an interface. So based on the statement driver is equal to new Chrome driver, we are initializing Chrome browser using Selenium WebDriver, right? It means we are creating a reference variable driver of the interface and creating an object. Here web driver is an interface as mentioned earlier in Chrome driver class. Abstraction. So what is abstraction first of all? So abstraction is a process of hiding the implementation details from the user and showing only relevant details to them. So I'm not going to explain abstraction because already we have covered in Java series, so you can look into it. So but this is the definition. So it also helps to reduce programming complexity and effort. So where we use in Selenium WebDriver in our framework. So in our automation framework, whenever we use page object model, we write all the locators in page class and use this locator in our test. That means we are hiding the implementation from the user. So this is the simple example of abstraction in automation framework. Inheritance. So the process by which one class acquires the properties of other class. Okay, so child class will acquire the properties of base class or parent class. So that is called inheritance. So when we create a base class in our automation framework to initialize WebDriver interface, waits, logger, reports, etc. So here I have explained, I have shown you, right, base class. So this is our base class, and you can see all other classes extended this base class. So let me give an example. Login page test. So you can see here public class login page test extends test base. Okay, and what is next? Encapsulation. So encapsulation is a mechanism of wrapping data, variables and code together in a single unit. All the classes which we write in automation framework are an example of encapsulation. Okay, that is for example page object model classes in which we are declare web element locator using find by and initialization of these data members will be done using constructor to initialize those in test methods. Okay, so you can see we have data members and methods in page class, right? So let me just show you pages. Let's say home page. So you can see here we have data members, okay, or you can say objects, all the objects, and we have methods. So it looks like it's encapsulated inside a class in a single unit. So this is an example of encapsulation in framework. Method overloading. So if a class has multiple methods having same name but different in parameters, so that is called method overloading. I'm sorry. Take an example in implicit wait when we use different timestamps such as seconds, minutes, hours, etc. Different parameters, right? In one of the possible example of method overloading. So this is the example of method overloading. Method overriding. So overriding, in base class we have one method and in child class we'll have the same method. Okay, so if subclass or child class has the same method as declared in the parent class, it is known as method overriding in Java. Okay, so whenever we use a method which was already implemented written in another class by changing its parameter, this is example of method overriding. Okay, so for different purpose when we use in child class, so that will be kind of an example of method overriding in automation framework. So I think we have covered almost all the topics. Yeah, we have covered. So let me just recap like what we have discussed so far. So brief introduction about Selenium. We have talked about test automation framework, data driven testing we have seen, page object model also we have seen, different components in a framework, okay, and key enhancements in the framework we have seen, okay, and how to I have shown you the demo as well. We have covered like what are the different steps to create framework from scratch, and how to explain the framework in an interview, Selenium interview, okay, and at last we have discussed implementation of OOP concept in Selenium framework. So guys, I'll create a blog on this, create a separate article in my blog going forward. Probably I'll publish in couple of days, and yeah, if you need this framework then let me know. I'll share you the URL of Git repository, okay, and if you like this video please like and share this video, and if you are new to my channel then please subscribe this channel and click on bell icon to get the notification for upcoming videos. So thank you for watching, have a nice day, bye bye.